Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming. I'm Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, and I am joined here today by Schenectady Mayor Gary McCarthy, a terrific advocate for his own community and a leader in developing policies and ideas for the whole state. Mayor Ann Thane of Amsterdam, who is head of the New York Conference of Mayors, is really at the forefront of efforts to revitalize our communities and do something about the plague of vacant and abandoned properties. Assemblymember Angelo Santa Barbara, a great supporter of the Capital Region Land Bank, who was a great advocate for the legislation my office introduced this year to expand the number of land banks from 10 to 20. Tony Jasinski, the chair of the Schenectady County Legislature, and a valuable ally working with Mayor McCarthy and Mayor Thane to bring about the renovations and the rehabilitation we're going to be discussing today, and County Legislator Bob Hoffman, who also does a tremendous job as the chair of the Capital Region Land Bank. I would also like to welcome City Council President Peggy King and members of the City Council and County Legislature who have joined us today. One of my top priorities as Attorney General has been to go after the banks and others whose wrongful misconduct brought about the crash of our housing market and the foreclosure crisis, and to see that whatever money we recover from those institutions goes to help the New York families and communities that were hurt by the crash and by the foreclosure crisis. And we're here today to talk about a very important program that is a critical part of our efforts to revitalize New York's housing market and help those communities really recover from one of the most devastating blows to our economy in the history of the United States. If you'll take a look at the building behind us, it will give you some idea of what we're talking about. This section of Eastern Avenue is one of the most distressed areas in the city of Schenectady and, in fact, in the state of New York. You know that, unfortunately, there's no shortage of distressed blocks here, and this block and this neighborhood are still struggling to get past the foreclosure crisis. There's an epidemic of vacant and abandoned properties that have a bad effect on crime, that have a devastating effect on municipal coffers, property values, and really prevent communities from recovering as quickly as they should. Fortunately, we have a terrific land bank operating here, which both serves the cities of Schenectady and the city of Amsterdam, as well as the surrounding area, which Bob will tell you more about in a little while. But I want to emphasize that I'm here today because I view myself very much as your partner in this effort and in helping the Capital Region Land Bank to start turning things around. For those of you who don't know, land banks are not-profit organizations affiliated with local governments that they're able to acquire unutilized properties and underutilized properties like 722 Eastern Avenue, which is behind us, and either rehabilitate them so they can be sold or rented out for affordable housing, or demolish them so the property can be put to some other use to benefit the community. Again, land banks are a proven tool to prevent crime and vandalism, and they help end the cycle of decay and declining property values that have affected so many communities across our state. If these buildings are not purchased and rehabbed or torn down, there's a significant cost to everyone in the community. It costs the local government money to maintain them, and it's just a simple and elegant solution to a very serious problem. The Capital Region Land Bank is doing some great work right here on Eastern Avenue, and the three-unit building behind us is a great example of why we have the need for the land bank and for the aggressive approach taken by the folks who are here with me today. This has been vacant for 3 years, but it's been a blight on the community for longer than that. Over the last 15 years, there have been 28 police and fire calls to respond to just this one property. This poses a danger to first responders, it poses a danger to the community, and it costs a lot of money. Maintenance costs money, police and fire costs money. This is something that is a drain on the economy. As soon as this press conference is over, you're going to see what the Capital Region Land Bank and its partners intend to do about that. The land bank recently acquired title to the property behind us, and as soon as we're done speaking, the construction equipment that you can see here is going to be fired up and demolish this dangerous structure. This will mark the beginning of the Eastern Avenue Revitalization Project, and once this eyesore is gone, the land bank is going to repurpose the lot for new development to be determined by local community, and that will become a part of a comprehensive plan to restabilize and revitalize this entire neighborhood. 6 other buildings are targeted for demolition as a part of the Eastern Avenue Revitalization Project. The project will also include upgrading 7 homes, doing renovations of 9 other houses, and improving the facades of 6 commercial buildings on this stretch of the avenue. This is an excellent example of what we want communities all over the state of New York to be doing, and the land banks that we are funding through our settlements with banks provide them with the resources to do that. The folks standing here are setting a good example we hope to see emulated around the state. The work that's been done here, the planning that's been done here, the vision that the folks surrounding me today have is really something that is worth statewide recognition, and I hope you'll all give them a round of applause for this. Land banks were created by legislation a few years ago after the housing market collapsed, but as is sometimes the case in our state government, the municipalities were authorized to create land banks, but there was no funding for the land banks to do anything. We have solved that problem because of my office's pursuit of the financial institutions that brought about the crisis, and provided so far $13 million in funding for land banks, including a capacity development grant to the Capital Region Land Bank. There was legislation that was passed when these were started that only allowed for up to 10 land banks in the state. With the help of the Assemblyman and other colleagues in Albany, a bill my office introduced this year was passed and signed into law just a few weeks ago that expands the number of land banks from 10 to 20. So we will see more communities across the state benefit from this. And we are also announcing today that the second round of funding for land banks from our office through the land bank program is going to be starting in September. There are applications. It's a transparent request for application process. And applications have to get in by mid-September. Funds will be given out in October, and we have committed another $20 million to this round of funding, bringing the total investment in land banks to $33 million. And I assure you that there are more malefactors out there who will be contributing to these noble causes in the future. The effect of land banks has been well known. They go back to the late 90s. The most famous one was in Flint, Michigan, which just has a documented effect on crime and on property values and on redevelopment. So we know this works, and working with the folks in my office, our colleagues in local government are improving cities all around the state of New York. I'm particularly happy to be here because really the folks here, the mayors and other officials who are here, have the vision that I'm confident is going to make the Capital Region Land Bank one of the most successful land banks in the country. I look forward to working together with you on this process, and with that, I'd like to introduce one of the real visionary mayors of New York State, Mayor Gary McCarthy.
Thank you. Very kind words. And I want to thank everyone for coming out today, because it helps us get our message out that we are working on these problems, we're working together, and that we appreciate help wherever we get it. But I want to thank New York's great Attorney General, Eric Schneiderman, and welcome him here to the city of Schenectady. I want to thank you for your leadership and perseverance in dealing with the misconduct in the banking industry that led to the collapse of the housing market. The effects of that collapse and the meltdown in real estate created problems that communities like Schenectady and Amsterdam are dealing with today and will continue to deal with for years. And got to give you a round of applause, because a lot of people were looking to walk away from that. It was complex, it was challenging, it was over a number of states, and Eric Schneiderman never lost sight, never gave up on the vision, and it brings us here today where we now have some of the resources to deal with the problem. So again, I thank you for your efforts. And our friend Tony Jasinski, my friend, our friend, Chair of the Schenectady County Legislature. We thank you for your strong leadership in Schenectady County has provided to the Land Bank and so many of the issues that we work on together. We're proud to be part of Schenectady's Unified Economic Development Team and the impressive results that it has produced. And thank you for Bob Hoffman for your work and effort in chairing the Land Bank. And I welcome my friend and partner in the Conference of Mayors in dealing with this problem not only in our individual cities but on a statewide basis, Ann Thane. My team at City Hall, Council President Peggy King, Lisa Perazzo, and did anybody else sneak in? But anybody else is in the crowd? Really, it's a good group of people who are trying to do what's right for this community. I also want to thank our informal but formal host, Bob Harvey, who's in the back there, the chair of the Eastern Avenue Neighborhood Association. And Bob is always a great team player when we're working together to identify problems, and he works in again, a complementary manner, which, Bob, I'm just so thankful to have you as part of the community, and that I know sometimes it's a little frustrating where you sit that we don't move as fast as you'd like, but I want the message to go out that we are moving and we're going to continue to do that. I see Megan Cook out there from the Center of Technology and in Government, which is an applied research unit of the University at Albany, and that we've worked with them as we are putting together the data and the empirical information that allows us to better manage the problems in the city of Schenectady and also across the region and hopefully across the state. Finally, I want to thank Ray Gillen. Where's Ray? Where are you, Ray? Come on. This community is so lucky to have him in the Metroplex team, and thank you for coordinating the city IDA and the effort in stepping up to support the Land Bank, both financially and with the expertise in solving problems. Here in Eastern Avenue, we're seeing results of this investment by our Attorney General. We are demolishing 8 buildings that are in very bad shape, and the vacant and distressed properties are not merely eyesores, but they're major public safety hazards that have significant negative impact on the value of property in our neighborhoods. Besides demolition, we're also doing major renovations to buildings that are worth savings. If you look up the street here at 813 Eastern Avenue, we've just completed a major upgrade with the help of Metroplex, and look at Arquette Electric a little farther up the street, which has made a major investment and upgraded 2 buildings. Today, we're excited about the Attorney General's announcement that more land bank funding will be available. And again, as a result of his leadership and perseverance at the national and state level, that we need more help from you, Mr. Attorney General, and I promise you that any assistance that you give us will be leveraged and put in good ways to make and improve our neighborhoods and make us all proud. We're excited about our land bank and its future, and our highly successful economic development team. I want to thank everyone for being here, and again, we want to continue these efforts and build on the track record that you've set forth.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Mayor McCarthy. And now I'd like to introduce another great partner in government, a leader of mayors at the statewide level, and someone who is actively involved in some of the most creative and fresh approaches that we're taking to urban policy and land banks and other matters, Mayor Ann Thane of Amsterdam.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for everyone for being here today. This is a topic that is particularly one that mayors feel passionately about, and we all love a good demolition too. Let's be clear about that. But I would like to thank the Attorney General for his unique responsiveness to this issue that plagues every community in New York State. And also to my partner, Mayor Gary McCarthy, for his vision and his very kind invitation to allow Amsterdam to be a significant partner in some of these multifaceted solutions to these problems that plague our communities. I also look out at the people in the audience, and I see so many faces that feel exactly the way that we do and that are giving their time and effort and knowledge to these land bank issues, problems of blight. And thank, again, all of the members from the land bank as well, because this takes a community. It takes everyone being innovative and committed, and it is a long road that we are looking at. So everyone, I thank my partners in Amsterdam, New York. I see a lot of the people here. And I just look very forward to a very successful project with the land bank, and also to coming up with more solutions to these problems. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Thane. And as it needs community partners, it needs leaders in local government, it needs resources that we can only really get at the national level. We need allies in the state government to get this done. And a fierce advocate for this community, one of the strong supporters of our bill to expand the land banks, now working with us on trying to deal with the problem of zombie properties, your Assembly Member Angelo Santa Barbara.
Thank you. It's great to join all of you here today for this exciting announcement. I'd like to thank our Attorney General for making this money available. How about another round of applause for our Attorney General for taking the lead on this and making this money available. Community land banks represent a grassroots approach to rebuilding our cities like Schenectady, cities like Amsterdam. In the capital region, there are strong partnerships committed to smart growth. We see that here with the members standing behind me, the officials, the land bank board members as well. And I'm confident that the Schenectady Amsterdam Land Bank is in a good position to compete for this latest round of funding, to attract new families and businesses to the area, to keep those that have already put down roots, like those on Eastern Avenue and in our region. We need to make sure our communities put their best foot forward, and that's what we're doing here today. Identifying and demolishing vacant and abandoned properties shows that Schenectady is making a comeback. Cities like Amsterdam are making a comeback. And the Capital Region Land Bank, with help from our Attorney General, is turning these eyesores into something positive, benefiting our entire community, all of our neighborhoods, and all of its residents. It's great to join all of you here today. Thank you for this announcement. Thank you to our Attorney General.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce the chair of the county legislature and another one of the key leaders in making all of this possible, Legislator Tony Jasinski.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I'd like to thank Attorney General Schneiderman for this significant financial support for our land bank. This would not be taking place were it not for his commitment to seeing this project to fruition. Your being here really means a lot to all of us in Schenectady County, joining us to see firsthand how we work together to revitalize our neighborhoods. Your dedication, your commitment, and your interest in this project go a long way towards making it the success that it is. I would also like to recognize the mayor of the city of Schenectady, a true partner with us at the county level, Gary McCarthy and the city council members, my colleagues on the county legislature who are here today. You've met Bob Hoffman, he's chair of the land bank. We're also joined by Gary Hughes, who's our majority leader, and Karen Johnson, who is my vice chairman. Mayor Thane, welcome as well. They say that success has many owners and that failure is an orphan. These projects don't happen in a vacuum, and they take the committed hard work of many to make them be successful as we go forward. The commitment and the dedication of folks like Ray Gillen and his team from Metroplex, the Metroplex board members, as well as our members of the Schenectady City and Schenectady County IDAs who are here today, they form a vital part of our Schenectady County Unified Economic Development team. This team has come together in support of our land bank. Both Metroplex and the IDA have provided the matching funding that was provided to us by the Attorney General as part of a focused and targeted effort to remove the blight that plagues these neighborhoods. The results we see here today for long vacant buildings, deteriorated structures, finally being torn down and demolished is symbolic of what we hope will start to take hold on Eastern Avenue and in other areas of Schenectady City and Schenectady County. It was said today is just the beginning. That is very true. We will see 4 additional structures demolished this fall, while at the same time renovations at Arcade Electric, 813 Eastern Avenue. We're pleased to see work underway at the former St. Mary's Church. A mix of demolition, a mix of facade work, a mix of renovation, projects taking place due to the leadership of Attorney General Schneiderman. How about another round of applause for the Attorney General? He has led the way to obtain funding for these projects. Eastern Avenue is starting to move into high gear. Today's event serves as one more example of how our working together works and gets results philosophy makes sense for all of us in Schenectady County. The city and the county, with our counterparts at the state and federal level, our economic development team, work together to produce solid results that will benefit all of us today and in the years to come. Attorney General, thank you again for your support. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the opportunity to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. And now I'd like to introduce someone who wears a couple of hats, County Legislator Bob Hoffman, who is also the chair of the Capital Region Land Bank.
Good afternoon. Most of what I was going to say has been said, but I would like to emphasize that although this is a beginning today, the land bank has been had its genesis several years ago, and there's a lot of people that have put a lot of effort in to get us where we are today. I don't think anyone in either of the city halls or in the county building didn't have their hand on this at some point as we searched around for whether or not land bank was something we wanted to do, and then we developed and we had intergovernmental agreements, and we had to do so many resolutions. And our board, I can't thank our board enough. Joe Berlan is here and Bob DiCaprio is here. I hope I don't see any other board members here, but our board has been tremendous. We've met more often than monthly over the last 4 years. 3 of us drove to Kalamazoo. That was a lot of fun. Ray Gillen lent us the county car to do that. So it's been a real effort that's been going on for the better part of 4 years now. So this is really a big moment for us land bank folks. So I do want to thank everyone at the county level that has assisted us, from our county attorney and all the legislators that have supported this, all the documentation that we've had to do. The city and Mayor McCarthy have been wonderful, lent us basically their staff as we work this up. And of course, Metroplex and Ray Gillen has lent us so much expertise. But I think the one person that's got more hours in on this than anybody else is Steve Streichman. I want Steve to be recognized. He's our executive director. I'll get texts and emails from Steve at all hours of the day, on weekends. What about this? What about that? And you know, he and I and some of the other board members have been through a lot, put a lot of miles in the car, and you know, given tours and just so much walking in the city and going to neighborhood meetings and trying to get the word out that we think the land bank is going to be a tool. We said from the beginning that it would be a process, not an event, and we're 4 years into it. I had said initially that it was like a 5-year plan, and I think we're pretty close to that. So without the whole team effort, you know, echoing some of the other sentiments, this wouldn't happen today. And obviously, I need to thank the Attorney General for not only coming today and highlighting what we're doing here, but the funding and the attention and the support paid by the Attorney General to land banks. You know, none of the land banks would be where they are today without that. When I happen to know that land banks were passed way back in 2008, and it was vetoed because they didn't think there was enough money lying around. And this time, the land banks went forward, and the number one word on everybody's mouth was funding. No one can do anything without funding. You need staff, you need, you know, to do this demolition, you need to maintain, and everything comes back to funding and sustainability. And then when we found out the Attorney General had a fund for us, well, it was just, you know, wonderful, wonderful news to land banks. And you should know that the land banks in New York, now numbering 9, have started an association. We speak to each other at the very least monthly, if not weekly. We share resources. We're trying not to have each one of us reinvent the wheel, so to speak. And so there's a real concerted effort among the land banks to make this be successful everywhere. So again, thank you to the Attorney General for giving us the impetus to keep moving forward here. So I'll just wrap this up by commenting that as buildings come down, it signals how much things are looking up, not just in Schenectady and Amsterdam, but in Albany, Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester, Newburgh, down in Broome County, down in Chautauqua County, anywhere that there are land banks. And the land banks are starting to make a difference in their neighborhoods, in their cities, and in people's lives. So again, thank you everyone for your support. Thank you, Attorney General. Thank you for all the educated. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And I would like to just close now by noting that when I became Attorney General, we were faced with the consequences of some extraordinarily reckless financial misconduct. We quickly realized that we didn't just have to fight back, we had to fight forward. And we have fought back to ensure that there is accountability. We are working to try and help with the re-regulation of our finance industry to ensure that what happened in 2008 can never happen again, but we're also looking to fight forward. And the land banks and the other programs that we've been able to fund, the home ownership protection program of legal services and housing counselors, these are all developed in collaboration with our colleagues in local government, our colleagues in community activists in the state legislature. We are looking to be as smart as we can in New York about moving forward to redevelop our economy, revive our housing market, and preserve the communities that were hurt so badly during the crash. It is an honor to be here with you today, and I look forward to being here and visiting Eastern Avenue often as the transformation takes place. And I know that if you stick around after this is over, you're going to get to see some transformational work right here live. Now, thank you all.
Thank you.